Hey, y'all. I am live, of course, on my podcast. We're going to go live to Phoenix. I'm filling in today in Phoenix and Tucson, AM 550 KFY in Phoenix, a flamethrower massive station, and AM 790 KNST, the massive talk station there in Tucson. I got drafted to do their afternoon show last minute today, so I'm going to address live in Phoenix and Tucson at the same time I'm doing the podcast right now, okay? So stand by, and I will address everything. Okay, let's see it. Okay. Here we go. Going live. This is Chris Croc doing my podcast live, which is Croc Talk on YouTube and also on Rumble at Croc Talk, KROKTALK, and on Facebook and Twitter at Chris Croc Show. Also on 550 KFY and 790 KNST, filling in for Garrett Lewis. So as I am doing it live on both. So today, it's so funny. It can happen to Garrett. It can happen to James T. It has undoubtedly a bunch of times with James T., for example, when he was on CNN and they pulled crap with him because he's black with BLM and all that crap. You can just blow up when stuff goes down. And so being a Dallas-Fort Worth guy, being on the radio here for 15 plus years, we see stuff. We hear about stuff. Parents reach out to us. And the Islamization of our schools is not just going on in Dallas-Fort Worth where I'm sitting. It's also going on in Phoenix and in Tucson, whether we know it or not. And what happened at this one school in Wiley, Texas, in Dallas-Fort Worth, was unbelievable. In fact, when I saw the video of it, the audio of it, I couldn't believe it. A young man who came on and talked about how there was 4 grown adults. It all started out with a young man named Marco, who is the head of the Republican student club at his high school in Wiley, Texas. And he was literally walking around for lunchtime, and like all the students do in the middle of the school day, and he sees 4 adult Muslims with a massive table set up in front of the whole school lunchroom. And they are passing out Qurans, hijabs to put on your daughter, pamphlets that are called Understanding Sharia. I thought Sharia law was never going to happen in America. I thought it was bad. I thought we're to be laughed at when we talk about they're trying to have Sharia law. You have a Sharia conference, if you will. Chip Roy and I think Keith Self is both Texas congressmen, but they're in the trying to end Sharia law, make Sharia law not be possible in America. So we're laughed at when we bring this up. And then what happens is 4 adults are somehow allowed to gain entry into a public high school during lunchtime and pass out Qurans and are given a table, are brought in by people that are on the faculty of the student of the high school, and to pass this stuff out. When I first saw this, it blew up like overnight within a couple hours. When I first saw this, I did not believe it. I literally waited till the next day because I did not think it would be possible that any public school, whether in Phoenix, Tucson, or Dallas-Fort Worth, would open up and allow adult Muslims to come in and proselytize. But they did. Boy, did they ever. And so what happened was they said they were going to put, and if you think this is not going on in Phoenix, if you think this is not going on in Tucson, you're wrong. Because you're going to find out what the schools do, at least the schools that don't have cojones, don't have huevos. And obviously, Phoenix, Tucson, Arizona is a purple state, a red state, depending on, you know more than I do on that. I'm not going to try to question it. Thank God we went Trump this last time, right? But you would never expect this in a red state like Texas, but there it is. The people, the Muslim population has 2 things that are going on with it. They either don't know that it's not okay to proselytize and bring their books, their religious texts, and pass them out to schools, or they know and they don't care. They know it's against the law, but they'll do it. There was another case on the same day that happened that an 8th grade girl reported, well, her mom found in her book bag. Her friend said, "Oh, my mom made this package for you. Here, it's a Quran. It is a book about the Quran for children, and here's Arabic letters for you to study so we can read the Quran together. And here's candy." They also passed out candy from the adults. So you have Muslims in a school district passing out Qurans, understanding Sharia pamphlets, and other Muslim stuff, and children in the classroom while you're supposed to be learning. And the school board's decision was to take one person and give them a little bit of a suspension or a little bit of we're investigating this. And supposedly from the people at the school, it was like one little employee at the front office. But what we found out was the principal of that high school 1 year earlier on World Hijab Day put a hijab on with Muslim students and put this out on their Instagram and said it was awesome. It was great. I loved it. It was loved it. She put in all caps. Loved it. She's white and she's apparently not a Muslim, but she loved putting the hijab on. So 1 year later is when this just happened, where on World Hijab Day was on a Sunday. So Monday, the same thing happened. This massive push and adults coming in proselytizing, passing out Qurans. It's unfreaking believable. So we all attended a school board meeting there about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I gave a speech. And what happened today, I wake up and all of a sudden everybody's bombarding me. Libs of TikTok picked it up. You know, she's got, I think her name is Salia Highchick or something like that. She's got like 4.6 million followers. Wall Street Apes has about 1.5 million followers. They retweeted it out. They put it out there. And so did another guy who's got tons of followers. What's his name is escaping me again. I mentioned it earlier. Eric Doherty, he's got about 1 million followers. So this is everywhere. It's also on Facebook. So I guess on the video of the day. And it's about a minute of my 2-minute speech put together. Now, the one thing they did, none of these people are meaning to do anything negative, but the one thing they did was they bleeped somebody. And I'm going to guess it was the school board because, it's public when people speak and it's all publicly put out there. Somebody bleeped out when I said that Sharia treats women like cattle, and that half the people in this room, the women, are not cattle. Somebody bleeped out when I said cattle and said I said the word S, the S word. I'm like, what is it? Why would you do that? I did not say that. You can read my lips. I said cattle because that's what Sharia does. It treats women like cattle. They're less. They're a possession. Things can be done to them that are vile and are okay in Sharia law. So I'm going to play this little speech that has blown up today. By all means, feel free to comment. But what the school board did in this whole thing was they allowed Muslims to talk way over the limit, and we had to raise hell to have them stop because the time stopped. So Muslims are allowed to break the rules, speak longer than everybody else, get away with things that nobody else could do. Do you think they would allow a Christian like myself to come in there and proselytize and pass out Bibles and pass out Bible tracts? Are you kidding me? So this is the speech that is blown up all over the place. By the way, co-host of James T. in the morning, of course, the Conservative Circus, Aaron said he saw it earlier today, too, because we all follow these accounts. So here we go.
America is a Christian nation.
Amen.
The principal, 1 year ago, on the same day, World Hijab Day, wore that hijab and said she loved it, all caps. 1 year to the day later, on World Hijab Day, Sunday, Monday hits, they're putting our girls in Sharia. They're passing out Sharia pamphlets, hijabs, Qurans, understanding Islam. Understanding Sharia. Sharia treats half of this room like and these women are not. This is not a Muslim nation. This is a Christian nation. That principal knew what she was doing, and I am not believing that was 1 or 2 people at that front desk. Fired the principal. You tell the parents, don't go online to get information, but what did they get online? Marco told the truth. That's where they got the information, and you did. Online. Telling us not to go there. This was dawah. Muslim proselytizing. Dawah. It's like me as a Christian going into a school and witnessing to these kids. You want me to do that? Let's go.
So that's kind of the portion of the speech that they took. And then it's so funny because some of them are saying, holy crap, father goes off against Texas school giving out Sharia pamphlets and hijabs, which is true. And then some of them say I'm the father of a 12-year-old. I don't have it. 12-year-old. This is how the stuff that you see all over the country that blows up, and it's like, well, that's not true. That's not true. They say I said the S word, which I didn't, and they say that I have a 12-year-old, which I don't have a 12-year-old child. My son looked at me when I told him about this. He's like, well, no, I'm 22. He was 12 at one point. So it's just funny. But what's not funny is the Islamization of our schools. They're also, the students and parents have told me they're serving halal, which is Islamic food, which is expensive to make apparently, at the schools. I mean, this is insane. You've probably heard of Epic City, because that's a national story about a Muslim city they tried to make, where only Muslims could buy the property, only Muslims could, and the money would go to fund if you bought a house there, would go to fund a mosque. I mean, it's insane stuff going on with this. So that is the story that broke out today and went nuts all over the internet this morning. If you want to comment on what you've seen with the Islamization of our schools, etc., chime in at 602-260-5394. We're live, of course, on 550 KFY and AM 790 KNST. You can call at 602-260-5394 or 844-260-5394. That's 844-260-5394. Or you can hit that talkback button on your iHeart app listening to 790 KNST or 550 KFYI. It's just insane what we've seen. Now, coming up next, I'm going to talk about the preview of the State of the Union. We also have proposed ICE facility that they're looking at putting up in Surprise, Arizona, of course, and also I mentioned to you they have one they're trying to put up in Dallas-Fort Worth, where I'm at. All that's coming up next. This is Chris Crock in for Garrett Lewis on 550 KFY and AM 790 KNST. How long I got, bro? 8 minutes? 8 minutes. Okay, good. Thanks. I'm going to keep talking on the podcast then. Okay. I'll have you down a little bit in the background so you just chime at me when it's time for me to stop. Okay, so that's the video, and you've probably seen the video. I do need to say this. This podcast, it's pretty cool. I don't get to do my podcast live while also on the radio. We're in Phoenix and Tucson today. There's about over a million people in Tucson, and there's like 4 or 5 million people in Phoenix. So we're all over the place today. I'm all over the place today, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah, it was just wild. Oh, yeah, but the show is brought to you by IRSprob.com. That's IRSPROB.com. Randy Martin is my CPA. Actually, I'm wearing his sweatshirt that he gave me. A professional, nice sweatshirt when I was giving the speech there that's gone viral. Millions of people have watched me in my IRSprob.com sweatshirt. Randy's been my CPA for over 8 years. He helps good people with IRS problems, specializing in IRS controversy, IRS audits, and tax planning strategy. IRSPROB.com, as Randy says at IRSPROB.com. Randy was super proud of me. He recommended I do stuff like this as my title sponsor and a dear friend. He said, you should get out there more. You should do this. You should do that. And you know what? Thanks to my friend Randy Martin, with all out of stuff I've been doing on my podcast, has blown up, and thanks to you. Tomorrow we're going to have on Kaylee. I want to make sure I get her full name correctly because I'm a fan of hers. She does really amazing work, too. She's coming on tomorrow night. I got some big ones coming on. So Kaylee Campbell is coming on tomorrow. She's a big influencer here in Dallas-Fort Worth. She's coming on to talk about the Islamization of our schools and in Wiley ISD. By the way, we're going back to Wiley ISD March 24th because the school board did nothing. That one person they put on leave was a peon, according to my sources and the students and the parents, was a peon in the front office. I believe, as you heard my speech, the principal is behind all of it. I believe. I have no evidence, no proof. I believe the principal is behind all of this. And remember, I went to her. I forgot to mention this. I think I have the video to play for you. She's the hiding principal. I went to her to ask her questions, and she turned away and hid. The hiding principal. Yeah, here it is. Here's the hiding principal. Watch. I'm just asking a question. This is a public building. I can ask questions. Why are you hiding? You're a public principal, Miss Doolin. Miss Doolin, why are you hiding? Did you allow those people in to preach Islam to your students? You loved World Hijab Day. Remember that? You said in all caps you loved it. Do you still love World Hijab Day? What are you afraid of? That is Tiffany Doolan, the principal of Wiley East High School, who I believe is behind all of this. And it's because she wore that hijab and smiled, and she was here. It's right here, World Hijab Day. There she is. Look at me, I'm in a hijab. A year later, Muslims invade and start passing out Qurans in the middle of the school day, adults with no permission. You don't think she had everything to do with it? I do. Do we know for sure? We don't. This is the video that started all off. This is the young student. And I have him and his dad. We text back and forth a lot. Here we go. Marco Hunter Lopez. I want to make sure I get this right. Hold on. I think it's Marcos. Yeah, there he is. Marcos Hunter Lopez. Hold on. It's Marco Hunter Lopez. He's the young student that exposed all this. I'm going to play his video. I do have it here handy in just a minute. I'll play it right now, actually. This is when he showed these folks passing out Islamic Qurans and hijabs. Actually, I'll play it when we come back on the air in a minute. And then we'll segue to coming. Oh, by the way, you know Alex Stein? And I'll ask you too, Producer Darren, do you know who Alex Stein is? He's a political comedian. I don't know if he's... Darren, have you heard of Alex Stein? Okay, Alex Stein's a friend. Well, he's kind of a friend. He's been on my show when I was on radio. Alex is coming on my podcast Thursday night. So tomorrow night we got. Do you think the folks in Phoenix and Tucson would want to hear from him too, or no? Yeah. Okay. I mean, if not, that's fine because I could do it either. Right now, he's scheduled during the podcast or during the show. If we have the show Thursday night, we'll see. Right. Anyway, so. I got Kaylee Campbell tomorrow at during the show sometime, and then we're going to do Alex Stein Thursday. So we got get guests lining up here. I also have to have my buddy Kyle Sims on here the next day or two. So that's what we got there. We're going to get into the illegals in just a moment. Again, if you're just joining me, I'm on radio live right now. We're in a commercial break for Phoenix and Tucson at 550 KFY and 790 KNST. Of course, my podcast is live right now, too. My speech to the Wiley ISD school board calling out the Islamization of our schools went viral today. That's interesting. I'm going to play the young man who exposed it all first, Marcos Hunter Lopez. And just a reminder again, the school board meeting is coming up on March 24th. They have not fired anybody. There was nothing done about the Islamization of our schools. And so we're going to go back there and we're going to demand people get fired. I will do another speech. I'm not trying to get viral again, just trying to speak the truth. And that speech is going to tell that they need to fire that principal. And the school board will not, they mock this. One of them laughed. I played you the video of that from Marcos Hunter Lopez. He laughed when Marcos Hunter Lopez said it took 2 or 3 years to get a Republican school club. They were stopped. They were stymied. They were mocked. They were told to take stuff down that was approved. And this is, Wiley ISD is nothing different than any other school district in Dallas-Fort Worth, or in Phoenix, or in Tucson, in Fort Worth, all the same. This kind of crap's going on all over the place. How much time we got left before we come back on the air, my friend? 45 seconds. Okay, bear with me. We're going back on live in Phoenix and Tucson in just a moment. I've never done my podcast. Well, I've done a podcast before live with radio, too. It's fun. Here. Here we go. I just got a nice comment from Shammer1969. I can see your comments live too. Shammer1969. Kaylee is great. The two of you will accomplish much. Chris, you are so far ahead of the game. Keep up and stay safe. We are in your corner. Yes. Here we go. I'm on there in Phoenix and Tucson and with you. Here we go. We're rolling. It's a hell of a station. 550 KFY, AM 790 KNST. Chris Crock in for Garrett Lewis. State of the Union address live in 40 minutes. Wow! 40 minutes to the State of the Union address. I want to preview that with you. But real fast, I've been talking about the Islamization of our schools. And this video of me speaking to a school board in North Texas where I'm at, Dallas-Fort Worth, has gone viral today. Libs of TikTok, all the massive big ones out there. It's cool. But what you need to know is this can happen to your school. If it can happen, and I have a niece and a sister-in-law that live there. And they were not surprised when I told my wife about this. She said they were not surprised to hear this is going on. Adult Muslims passing out Qurans in school with hijabs in a public school in the middle of the day. Students in the middle of the class saying, my mom made you this candy. Here's candy and here's a Quran from my mom, and we want to read the Quran together with you in the middle of a classroom. An 8th grade kid. The mom found the Quran and some book for children about the Quran in her book bag. Said, what in God's name is this? And she said, her mom did this and she wanted to, whatever. So it's all happening on the same day in one of our schools. This is the young man who first I started working with. He did this video, and this went viral all over the country with Libs of TikTok, all of them as well, because nobody could believe that adults were passing out Qurans. This is it right here.
Hello, tell me the story. What happened today at school?
Okay, so I'm Marco. I'm the president of the High School Republicans at Wiley East High School. And today there was an organization called Why Islam that had a huge table booth in front of our school today. And they were giving hijabs to girls out throughout the high school. And they were giving out Qurans. And they also had pamphlets about Sharia law and other Islamic things. And they were giving out these bags. And I had a discussion with the women that were there, and we're trying to understand what's going on.
Was everybody in a hijab?
So they were passing out to as much, girls as they could. So that was their goal.
How many students took those bags?
I don't have an exact number of how many people took them, but I can say that they were trying to get as much out as they could.
And it was during the school day, right?
Yes, it was during lunch.
During lunch.
And we typically have colleges come out, where we have our clubs have tables, but we've never had a faith group, to my understanding.
So Christians have never been allowed to come?
Not from what I've seen. I've never seen churches or Bibles passed out. I can't affirm that that's 100%, but what I can say is that this was a big thing that they wanted to push out today.
Okay.
Can you imagine this happening in your child's school and nobody fired over it? Nobody named who did what. Nobody fired over it. One person removed temporarily while they investigated, and then put back on there with a little bit of chastising. It was just someone in the front office. That's the kind of crap that's going on in our public schools. Let me tell you something. My wife and I homeschooled, and I'm not here to tell you to homeschool. I remember I used to work at the 550 KFY and 790 KNST of Atlanta. And I remember my colleague Neil Bortz saying he always could tell who the homeschool kids were because they were super polite and they talked like adults. Well, I never thought I would homeschool until one day my wife says, we're going to homeschool. And I said, what? And she showed all the research she did, and so we did. And it was the greatest decision we ever made. And believe me, no one in my family is a teacher, me nor my wife. We get curriculum, we follow it. We followed a Christian-based curriculum, and my kids, my son just graduated, summa cum laude, like his pappy, and speaks Japanese at the second highest fluency level out of 5 levels that the Japanese government recognizes. And my daughter's in the middle of college right now. So I'm not telling you to yank your kids. We need good people, salt and light in our schools, and we need good teachers in there. But all I'm telling you, if this kind of crap is going on and you fight the system and they ain't going to change, then you pull out. Because this is insanity, this kind of stuff that we're seeing in our schools. All right? Now, I had to get into this before we go back to our State of the Union preview for tonight, which will be live in 35 minutes here on AM 550 KFY and AM 790 KNST. But first, a proposed ICE facility in Surprise, Arizona, to be used for intake and short-term transfers. So this is going to hold, the total amounts to about 1,500 beds, 500 to 1,500 bed processing facility in suburban Phoenix. And people are freaking out. This is from ABC 15. And let me play this for you. This is fun to listen to.
A packed-out surprise city council meeting.
We are begging you to hear us.
With 500 inside, including an overflow room.
I think we just need to lower the temperature and respect each other in this chamber. And I appreciate that of you.
This month, the Department of Homeland Security and Immigration and Customs Enforcement bought this 418,000 square foot warehouse off of Dysart Road.
You have a moral and ethical obligation to defend every life in our city. And the reality is that people under your care are now incredibly scared and incredibly unsafe.
Residents making their voices heard, sharing different perspectives.
And I appreciate the hard work that these men and women who wake up every day, take up these shifts and say, I will protect you.
I just cannot stand for this. And then they're going to house people in a warehouse. We do not warehouse people in our country. This isn't the United States I grew up in.
I guess I'm just asking the city council not to just raise their hands up and surrender without even thinking about being creative about solutions.
And I hope we would work with ICE and with our local police so they can do their job.
City officials say local police do not help ICE operations, but can't stand in the way either.
I love that. We do not, this is America, we do not warehouse people. Really? Ma'am, are you, I don't want to get all offensive to people, but are you special needs? Do you not know that there's something called prisons? Prisons. There are prisons that warehouse American citizens. They're disappeared. They're separated from their families. Are you not aware about this? It's just amazing how much they care about illegals, but how little they care about our citizens. So the same type of facility, a long-term facility, is what was supposed to go up in Dallas, Fort Worth, just south of Dallas, 10 miles outside of Dallas, and there was a massive warehouse that the Department of Homeland Security was set to buy, and then the California sellers decided to not let DHS buy it. That would have held 10,000 illegals, but they can still take it by eminent domain and offer them the same amount that they were going to offer. That's a reasonable amount. So that's what's going on with that. I got some more on the illegals, and then State of the Union preview next. It's Chris Crock in for Garrett Lewis on 550 KFY and AM 790 KNST. Thank you. How long is this break? 6 minutes. Okay, good. Cool. Okay, so we're going to continue the podcast, obviously, right now, as I'm live in Phoenix and Tucson, simulcast there during a break, so that's good. I get to get into this more. So, yeah, we had a 10,000 seat facility for illegals, to hold illegals long-term for like 3 to 5 months so that we can deport they ass out of here. And it would have been one of these massive facilities pulling in up to 10,000 illegals. And it was in Hutchins, just south of Dallas, in view of downtown. And by the way, speaking of which, I went to San Antonio to an amazing romantic weekend. My wife and my kids have gone to this amazing resort for years. Just us two this past weekend. I drove by, I think it's 310, the toll that goes all the way around Austin, but I could still see Austin's downtown. My wife and I lived there in the late 90s. It looks like Houston or Dallas skyline. No, it's not, but it's close. It's unbelievable what I saw there. But in Hutchins, we were slated to buy. DHS was this close. They put in to buy this warehouse, and Hutchins, the mayor, and all these pro-illegal people showed up, and this company out of California that owns it says, well, we're not going to sell to them. But the good news is supremacy. The federal government can say, okay, you don't want to sell us that? No problem. It's on the market. We're taking it. They'll do the research to pay them the fair, what they need to be paid fairly, obviously, because if they don't, they're gonna lose in court. They'll pay them the fair amount for the thing, and they'll take it from them. My prayer and my hope is that the Trump administration and DHS takes that freaking place and turns it into, as that the leftist lady, a warehouse of illegals to get them out of here from that staging facility. And if they don't get it there, they'll get it somewhere else. And I love the city of Hutchins, like, we don't even have 10,000 people, the town or whatever it's called. I love it. Good. Hey, Joe Biden was flying illegals in the dead of night into suburban New York, which is a Republican stronghold. White Plains, I think it was, or something of that nature, flying them into the dead of night. Joe Biden put up facilities to hold illegals, a illegal migrant facility in San Antonio. This crap was done against our wishes. It was done without our permission. It was not done con permiso in Espanol, which means with permission. It was not done. So that's what's going on with that. The hockey team, man. Let's do that real fast. I hit it earlier, and I'll probably hit it again. This hockey team is amazing. You have to hear this because it's unbelievable. The USA Today literally had this headline today. The USA men's hockey team utterly failed to meet the cultural moment. What does that mean? They didn't take a knee. They didn't hate their country. They stood up for the flag. They say they love this country. They sang Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA. They're supposed to be ashamed and forsake their country and attack their country for illegals, for Islamists, you name it. We have nothing to be ashamed about. We have everything to be proud about. We are the best country in the world, and we should never forget it. Doesn't mean we're perfect, because we ain't. And I know ain't a word, but there it is. We're not perfect. We're the best country in the world. We have so much to be proud of. And the moment we start doubting our country, hating our country, taking a knee for it, not being proud of it, is the moment it declines. And that's what the left wants. The decline and the shame of this country. The left traffics in shame. This is from HuffPost. This is really funny, too. HuffPost put out this. If waving the American flag or chanting USA turns you off right now, you are not alone. Oh, I can't help it. It's just too funny. Okay, 1 minute till we go back on the air. And we only have 2 segments left together, right? Oh, I'll say it again, because it's very important. This show is brought to you by IRSprob.com, helping good people with IRS problems, specializing in IRS controversy, IRS audits, and tax planning strategy. For your tax man, your tax planning, it's my guy for 8 years plus, Randy Martin from IRSprob.com, IRSprob.com. Very important to share that with you. I'll say it again if you're just joining me on the podcast today. My speech to the Wiley ISD School Board blew up today on Libs of TikTok and all over the place on Facebook and Twitter. It says I have a 12-year-old son. I do not have a 12-year-old son. It says I said the S word. I did not say the S word twice. I said the word cattle. Sharia treats women like cattle. These women are not cattle is what I said. They bleeped it. Somebody bleeped it. I think it was the school board. I have no idea. Okay, here we go. We're going live. Woo! 550 KFY, AM 790 KNST. Chris Crock in for Garrett Lewis. 602-260-5394 is our number. 602-260-5394 or 844-260-5394. Or you can hit that talkback button on your iHeart app. For example, these 2 folks hit that talkback button. Let's hear what they have to say.
I remember when I was in school and you couldn't even talk about Jesus or Christianity, let alone hand out Bibles and teach people about the truth of God. But we can go and hand out Qurans and hijabs to students now. It's literally crazy.
Amen. Absolutely correct. And so, I mean, I don't know. I'm tempted to just show up at the school and go in there and start passing out Bibles and Bible tracts. You know? Why wouldn't it be okay for me to do that? Muslims are allowed to come in with adult groups, pass out Quran hijabs, and pamphlets that are called Understanding Sharia. They laugh at us when we say Sharia law, but that's exactly what they're handing to our children in public schools, and no one gets fired for it, and no one's to blame. Oh, I forgot to tell you this, too. I confronted the principal at that school board meeting, and she hid. She turned away from me. She literally hid, and I was asking her gentle, simple questions, and she hid. because they don't want to be accountable for what they're allowing or they're supporting happening in the schools. Here's another talkback.
Hello, Chris. Robin Mesa here. I was just kind of wanting to make a remark about Rude Boy Gallego. I call BS. He's not going to be going and doing community things and playing with his 3 kids. He's going to be watching the speech so he knows what to cry about tomorrow on X. Okay, bye.
That's exactly right. So the legislators in Phoenix, Tucson, Arizona, I don't have the list of Texas ones. I'd love, in fact, if you want to check that for me real fast too, Producer Darren, since I'm doing my podcast in Texas while I'm doing this live in Phoenix and Tucson, I would love to see what Texas won. So for Phoenix and Tucson, Ruben Gallego, state U.S. Senator, is not going to the speech tonight. Dozens of Democrats are refusing to go to the State of the Union speech tonight. So what they've said is I think it's a horrible message to the country, because when the country watches it tonight in 24 minutes, they are going to see a large chunk of vacant seats. The message for the Democrats tonight is we will not work with Republicans. We will not work with the president on anything. And I don't care how much you hate Trump. I don't care how much you despise what the Republicans stand for. To not show up like Ruben Gallego and also Congresswoman Yasamin Ansari and Adelita Grijalva, to not show up says, I will not work with Republicans. Hey, aren't these the same people, the same chumps who shut down the government for the second time now? But this is, of course, is only mainly DHS, which, by the way, as you know, Congress, I should say, DHS has said today, well, since you're going to cut funds to DHS, particularly what's getting hit hard is folks in the what are they called, Producer Darren? At the airports, TSA. So TSA they're doing cutbacks, for example, because Secret Service and others, not ICE, are getting cutbacks with the refusal of funding DHS. Congressional people, congressmen, congresswomen, senators, are not getting what they normally get from TSA. They usually get a complimentary accompaniment from, I believe, a TSA officer. No more. Those are cut off as of, I think, yesterday or the day before. The American people, we have mass chaos, as we all know, on the eastern seaboard, particularly in the Northeast, with these storms. The massive swath of flights canceled, rescheduled, trying to rebook today. And you put it into the fact that the TSA folks are having cutbacks, that DHS is doing cutbacks with them. You're going to really screw with people's lives. So there you have it. There you have it. All right. So let's get back into the let's get back into our awesome Team USA. You have a women's team who refused to go to the State of the Union tonight. And I don't care what they say, our schedules are too busy. We have too many things going on. That's a lie. If my daughter were on the U.S. women's hockey team taking home the gold, and her team pulled this crap, I would say, you know what, honey, let's call the White House tonight. Let's call the White House. I said this, when this happened on Sunday or whatever, or Monday. Let's call the White House and say, my daughter is so-and-so and she wants to go. She's on the team. Can she go? You know what they would say? Absolutely. We'll put you on the first plane. Because then you would have the USA men's hockey team go. Everybody goes nuts at the State of the Union, except for the 36 Democrats that are not showing up. Empty chairs. And we have, Lucy Johnson from the USA Women's Gold. You're like the only one getting the spotlight on you. I would totally go. And if it was my daughter, I would totally tell her to go. Do you want to go? Let's go. Let's go. We'll get you in. That's what I would do. So the men's team, these are 24-year-old kids. 24-year-old kids getting their teeth knocked out for this country and proud of it. Scraggly, scruffy 24-year-old kids are teaching us about patriotism today. They're showing us what patriotism is and what patriotism means. Going into a den of iniquity, a Miami, I say that half seriously, half not, because you go in there. I have to flash back to when I was like 20-something, you know what I mean? trying to go pick up chicks and not getting any chicks. Going to these bars, and you know what it is? There's people trying to pick each other up, getting drunk. They don't know their butt from a hole in the ground when it comes to politics or this country or who the first president is, what America was or anything. And then you have these guys, these 24-year-old scruffy guys coming in and singing the national anthem. We don't have too much time, so I want to jump towards the end because it's just so juicy at the end. Really great. And for that they're supposed to be ashamed. And then they really made the left mad because they sang Trump's favorite song, Lee Greenwood. Yeah. Oh, it's so beautiful. That's Trump's favorite song in the world. I cannot believe that those young men sang that song. And they do not have to be conservative or Republicans. But let me tell you something. They will be now. Because the left is going to come after them with a vengeance to try to cancel them and attack them. We've got two ladies who are American citizens that are playing for the Chi-Coms getting almost $10 million or $14 million over the past several years that are not saying anything about the Uyghurs being enslaved, the Chinese communist people disappearing, killing, and torturing people, their own citizens, but they're singing the laudits and plaudits of the Chinese communists while they live in America off the fat of the land. The media and audio from them with President Trump, even handing him their putting their gold medal over President Trump. And I'll give you more of a direct SOTU preview. The State of the Union coming up here on 550 KFY and AM 790 KNST in 15 minutes. It's Chris Crockett for Garrett Lewis. Hit those talkbacks. I want to hear from you more. All that next. Okay. All right. We have 8 more minutes while they're in commercial, so this is good because Rep. Jasmine Crockett, Jazzy Crockett is not going tonight to the State of the Union. She's on the campaign trail for the U.S. Senate. She will not be there, so this is going to be a fairly empty house for Democrats, which I think is going to be a national embarrassment. The Penguin, Chuck Schumer, will be going. I did hear that from producer Darren, who's working with me this afternoon. And by the way, also Ted Cruz just endorsed State Representative Steve Toth over Dan Crenshaw in the Texas 2nd District GOP primary. Good. Knock out Dan Crenshaw. Excellent. So that's good. I'm glad. Knock him out. Get him out of there. What else do I have for you? Lots. I'll see if I can hit this. Savannah Guthrie's offering $1 million. Right now, I just saw this, too, to the people that allegedly kidnapped or killed her mom, unfortunately. She wanted to give a huge award, like $1 million, for Nancy's mom on day one, but this incompetent, stupid Sheriff Chris Nanos, who is a leftist liberal Democrat elected by the fools that are liberal Democrats that run the city of Tucson and its county. So I'll get into that too in a minute, but my gosh. Oh, and Ilhan Omar, this is great. I got to go back to two things. Ro Khanna said he was striking back against the Republicans and Epstein people by having this guest on tonight. Unfortunately, though, she is a co-conspirator in the Epstein case. I'll share that with you in just a minute, along with Ilhan Omar. But the men's team tonight is amazing. Let's hear about some of these guys, hockey players on the men's team.
And we're the gold medalists, so I'm so happy that USA Hockey's on top.
This is Jack Hughes, one of the brothers Hughes.
You not only have that as a reminder, you got that as a reminder too. Did that just show about this game?
I'm lucky I'm from the best country in the world, and we got great dentists there too, so I'm lucky I'm American, and they're going to fix me right up.
Standing there listening to the anthem, what's going through your head?
Just so proud. I'm so proud to be American. I'm so proud of this group. I'm so happy that we could win. You know, we have so many people here supporting us. We have so many people back home supporting us, and you know, we're so thrilled with how this whole tournament played out, and you know, just an unbelievable moment for you.
Amen. Here is Jack Hughes also being asked about of the brothers Hughes, Jack and Quinn, on the Olympic team, being asked about this and political stuff, and the women's team's not been invited.
We're excited. I mean, anytime...
Actually, they were invited, but they refused to come.
We're excited. I mean, anytime, like, everything is so political. We're athletes. We're so proud to represent the U.S. And when you get the chance to go to the White House, meet the president, you know, we're proud to be Americans, and, you know, that's so patriotic. So no matter what your views are, we're super excited to go to the White House tomorrow and just be a part of that.
Amen. Amen. This is a leftist liberal podcast attacking the USA men's team for going to the State of the Union.
Going to this to serve as a willing pawn is controversial. And as long as they realize that and accept it, then I'm all for it.
They don't realize it. Like, that's the part in all of this, is that they're constantly saying, this whole group is constantly saying, keep politics away from this. Keep politics away from this. We don't want this to be political. You welcomed it in. You welcomed politics literally into your celebration and bringing Kash Patel into your locker room, or not denying him access.
I want to hit that on the radio in a minute, too, and go back on, because the FBI director, probably through the White House, asks, hey, do you mind if the FBI director hangs out and you know, comes in the locker room after you guys finish the game? Well, you say no. He's the FBI director. He's a cabinet level. He's not almost a cabinet level position right beneath the DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. You gonna say no to that? Only a partisan leftist would do that, which would be so uncouth. He partied with him. I thought it was awesome, absolutely awesome. How much time you got before we come back on, brother? Darren? Producer Darren, you there? Not yet. Okay. So I'm coming back on in a few. Then we'll be on till 57:30. The State of the Union address coming up in just a few. Follow me on Twitter at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show. Excuse me, because I'll be tweeting my reaction to the State of the Union. Just pow, 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 pow. We'll have a lot of fun. Follow me on Twitter at Chris Crock Show, AKX, at Chris Crock Show, CHRISKROK. Tomorrow, I'm going to have the great Kaylee Campbell on my podcast tomorrow night. And then on Thursday night, Alex Stein, the inimitable political comedian extraordinaire Alex Stein, who himself has torn up many school board and city council meetings. A national treasure. Alex Stein will join me Thursday. Primetime Alex Stein. Good times. Very good times, y'all. Oh, let's see. We have some more people commenting. Linus33, I thought that was you in the video today. Great job. Thank you very much, Linus. I'll type at you. You can comment through Rumble. If you follow me on Rumble, just go to Rumble and type in Croc Talk, Kroktalk, and follow me. Croc Talk. Also, I'm on YouTube, Croc Talk, Kroktalk. It's Croc Talk Radio on YouTube. When you comment, it goes right in here, and I can see you live. So Linus says, I thought that was you in the video today. Yes, it was me. And then she says, hate it when I stay at a hotel and all they have is the USA Today. Yes, I prefer the Wall Street Journal. Amen. I prefer the Wall Street Journal. Okay, here we go. 30 seconds. We're back on in Phoenix and Tucson, Arizona. How much time are we going to have roughly? We're going to come back in 30 seconds, so we'll have like 52:30. So I have like 5 minutes? Okay, 4.5. Yeah. Right on. Here we go. We're rolling. Wah! I always love this one. Chris Crocken for Garrett Lewis on 550 KFY and AM 790 KNST, or you can watch my podcast live and see if I have a third appendage growing out of my forehead. Some people think I do. I don't, but you'll have to see it yourself. Watch me live on Rumble or YouTube at Croc Talk, Kroktalk. Okay, so State of the Union. The economy's great, but you cannot tell us it's great because people don't think it is. It is Biden's fault, but you can't blame it on him anymore. It's yours. You need to be able to relate to the people and tell them what you've done and what you're going to do and where they're going to go, how you're going to get them there. But also empathize, like Slick Willie, with I feel your pain in a good way. Defending what you've done and saying things are great is not going to get if these folks of this country do not. And I voted for Donald Trump 3 times. I'll vote for him the 4th time when he runs again in 2028. These folks do not, if they do not feel like things are better with the economy for the midterms, we're screwed. We are screwed. So a lot of criticism from folks that are massive Trump supporters on all the international stuff is too much. You should be focusing on at home. I think he can do both. I love what he's done with international, with peace. That's what makes people like Ruben Gallego, Yasmin Ansari, Adelita Grijalva, Jasmine Crockett for not showing up tonight. It makes them look horrible. Like they don't want to work with Republicans in any way, shape, or form, or the president, even if it means victory, even if it means stopping terrorism on a massive scale by neutering or possibly taking out the Iranian revolutionary, the mullahs, the Ayatollah Khomeini, and the RCG, which could happen, including their nuclear program, which means peace in Gaza, which means Hamas is neutered to the west of Israel. To the north of Israel is Hezbollah. They've been neutered. The Houthis to the southwest are quiet, and none of our canals are being shut down, and the Red Sea's not being shot at by drones because Joe Biden's not the president. The president of peace is in power. We have the Olympics. We have the men's Olympics team taking home the gold, and they're going to wonderfully, brilliantly, in a stroke of God's timing, be right there, and we're going to cheer our heads off when they're introduced tonight. And they're eating it up, and they're loving it unashamedly. Here's the USA men's hockey team in the Oval Office, one of them putting his gold medal on Trump, and Trump saying, I don't want to take this off.
Huh? I love you. I'll put it on you. Absolutely. I'm not giving it back. I'm not giving it. I'll trade you that for a pen. Hey, that's cool. There we go. I never thought I'd ever have this on my. Okay, step back.
You're listening to a very happy president. He's laughing. He's having fun. Meantime, you have the USA Today attacking the men's hockey team, saying that the men's hockey team utterly failed to meet the cultural moment, the woke, leftist, anti-American cultural moment. HuffPost saying, if waving the American flag or chanting USA turns you off right now, you're not alone. How about singing Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA? We're having fun. They're miserable. Which one is more attractive? Which one has a sweeter aroma? People like to be associated with winners, not losers. That includes when people are running for election. We are now 4 minutes away from the State of the Union, which we're going to carry live on AM 790 KNST and 550 KFYI. I'll be with you again tomorrow afternoon, once again, filling in for Garrett Lewis. And we'll be totally breaking down the State of the Union address. The key for me is, yes, stick it to Iran. By the way, Iran it's so funny. They're doing drills. They're doing military drills right now during the State of the Union. Wow. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Oh, and with Raising Cane publicly saying, yeah, we're fine to go after Iran and attack. We have the largest formation and a military presence in the world there since the Gulf War. But saying that we don't have all the armaments, the ammunition to blow through on a major attack on them. We do have Israel. And Israel can do a lot of the work like they did before. And we'll get in this more tomorrow, but the reason when people say Iran is the largest state sponsor of terrorism, it is a wide, massive swath throughout the Middle East and into Europe and America. But the State of the Union coming up in 20 seconds now. We'll hit that, and I will talk to you tomorrow. We'll break it down for you tomorrow. It has been a thrill and a pleasure. I always love filling in for Garrett and James T. It's Chris Kroc. Follow me on X and Facebook at Chris Kroc Show, CHRASKR, okay? 550 KFY and AM 790 KNST. Wah! Thanks, brother. All right, I'll disconnect in a minute. I'm going to continue with my audience here, okay? Over here, okay? Talk soon. All right, so I'll disconnect with them in a second, but you don't have to hear them. So that's been the hour. I figured we'd do the podcast today because it was the last minute. I wasn't supposed to be filling in for the shows today. I was supposed to film tomorrow, but hey, more opportunities, more fun. So we did a simulcast or trimulcast, if that's a word. Man, yeah. So another quick point. I'm going to say it again and again. My speech that went viral. I'll play it again real fast. This speech went viral all over Libs of TikTok, Eric Daughtry, Wall Street Apes. By now, it's probably a couple million or more people have watched this. Half of my speech I gave to the Wiley ISD School Board. And that's great. I'll play it for you in a second. But a couple of things they got wrong. Somebody, I think it was a school board, somebody bleeped out the word cattle. I said, Sharia treats women like cattle, and half this room, these women in half this room are not cattle. They bleeped it out and said, I said the word S, the S word. I did not say that. I would not say that at a public gathering and such like that. So that's one thing they got wrong. Some of these people that are going viral with my video are saying I have a 12-year-old child. I do not. And nor do I have a love child. I don't have a Jesse Jackson, Karen Stafford, ashtray. Remember when Jesse Jackson's wife threw an ashtray at him, and his lover from Operation Push, I believe it was Rainbow Push Coalition or whatever, Karen Stafford. He had a love child. A love child. Yes, ashtray, Karen Stafford, love child. Yes, So, no. So they got some things wrong like they always do on social media. But nonetheless, I'll play it for you. And it's real important to let you know there is another school board meeting that we're all going to. And I'm talking about the Patriots at Wiley East High School. Marcos Hunter Lopez, his father, Jaquez Jackson, who is head of the Young Republicans for Denton County, and so many more Patriots are coming to the school board meeting. It's March 24th, including people like Kyle Sims, who I'll have on my show in the very near future. Also want you to know that, again, tomorrow we're going to have Kaylee Campbell on. I'm going to have her on tomorrow. I'm a fan of her work, big time. And also, that's tomorrow, and then she'll be on the podcast, as well as Alex Stein, primetime Alex Stein, will be on with me. The awesome political comedian Alex Stein on Thursday. Thursday's podcast, okay? All right, let's play the it's a half of the speech is cut up by somebody that went viral today from me speaking at Wiley East High.
America is a Christian nation.
Amen.
The principal, 1 year ago, the principal on the same day, World Hijab Day, wore that hijab and said she loved it, all caps. 1 year to the day later, on World Hijab Day, Sunday, Monday hits, they're putting out girls in Sharia. They're passing out Sharia pamphlets, hijabs, Qurans, understanding Islam. understanding Sharia. Sharia treats half of this room like and these women are not. This is not a Muslim nation. This is a Christian nation. That principal knew what she was doing, and I am not believing that was one or two people at that front desk. Fired the principal. You tell the parents, don't go online to get information, but what did they get online? Marco told the truth. That's where they got the information, and you did. Online. Telling us not to go there. This was dawah. Muslim proselytizing. Dawah. It's like me as a Christian going into a school and witnessing to these kids. You want me to do that? Let's go.
I would love. And again, I didn't say any swears in there. I said cattle twice. They bleeped it out and said I said the S word. I did not say the S word. Two things that are extraordinarily important, because the people that matter in this are not me. The people that matter in this are the students of Wiley East High School and the parents. Parents like Michael Schwerin, who is my first person I had on this podcast at Wiley East exposing this. Parents like Marco Lopez, the father of Marcos Hunter Lopez, who is the head of the Republican Club, who exposed this all. They and their and the patriots of Wiley and of Collin County are the ones who have exposed this and stood up to this. I have the honor of being able to speak with them and be with them. And I'm going to join them again on March 24th because they have fired no one for allowing adult Muslims to come in and pass out Qurans, hijabs, candy, and understanding Sharia pamphlets. Sharia law that we're told doesn't exist, that we're laughed at when we bring up, is there. And now it's in our schools. And then separately, another parent at Wiley ISD said her 8th grade daughter came home and she looked in her book bag to get something, and the parent said she found a Quran, a children's book about the Quran to help her understand it, and she thinks it looked like the Arabic alphabet, and candy. The parent gave it to the child gave it to her daughter in the middle of class, because what you should study in the middle of class is not school. You should study the Quran. More of your comments here from Linus33. Yeah, I wish you could live stream that March 24th meeting, she says. Well, I think you can watch it on through Wiley ISD, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I will let you know. Yes, and so see, Linus33 says they bleeped cattle because it's the word imams actually use. I would not be surprised. So I do believe it was the school board, but I don't know who bleeped it out. But I didn't, and I didn't say the S word. So that does miff me a little bit. I didn't even really notice that earlier on because I was getting inundated from people all over the country saying, "You're viral today, you're viral today." And isn't it interesting how things we think are going to go viral that don't? Like you put something out that you think is going to go, a lot of people are going to respond, nothing. So this is very good, though, because somebody at that school needs to be fired. I believe it needs to be the principal who wore a hijab on World Hijab Day, which is actually 1 year later is when this happened. The day after World Hijab Day this year was Sunday, and so on Monday is when all these people came in with Qurans, hijabs, and candy, adults, to give to the kids, and that's also when that 8th grade girl brought in candy and stuff. I mean, this is the Islamization of our schools. This is the principal who I believe is behind all this. I have no proof, but my belief is that she is behind all of this and has not been fired. That is principal of Wiley East High, Tiffany Doolin. And she wore that hijab 1 year earlier, 1 year to the day of when this happened last year. Said she loved, all caps, loved this experience. She loves putting on hijabs to cover up her beauty and her looks for Islam. That is what she said. So I believe that she was behind this. They just took one person at the front desk and suspended them and investigated and then put that person back on and said there was a little bit of a punishment. There was nothing going to happen. So we're going to go back and we're going to raise Cain at the March 24th school board meeting and demand that they fire the person responsible, who I believe is the principal. I don't know. And the other thing that's important that parents like Michael Schwerin and Mr. Lopez and others have said is that the school board, it's old Wiley, families in Wiley, and they pretend they're Republicans and conservatives, but they're not. and they attack and they go after people who speak out and tell the truth. So we're going to hold them to the fire, and we're going to hold them accountable. March 24th, I'll see you there, and I'll see you for tomorrow's podcast right around this time as well, okay? Let's watch State of the Union. Follow me on Twitter, @Chris Crock Show, or X, @Chris Crock Show, CHRISKR, okay? I will react in real time.